found 25 new Minecraft village seeds for you all to see today. We have a variety of seeds including island villages, lake villages, villages with multiple blacksmiths, and even some underground buildings. Could one of these be the seed you decide to use for your next world? Let's find out. This seed looks absolutely incredible. The spawn is right on the edge of the Cherry Grove Circle, and I can't say enough about how awesome it looks. The plains in the middle is perfect for building. The lake with the village is an added plus, especially with the village having 2 blacksmiths. Just so you know, I record on Java Edition. Seeds on Java Edition and Bedrock Edition have the same terrain, but structures like villages do not generate in the same places. Just keep that in mind when watching this video. There's also some really cool caves around the elevated Cherry Grove too, like this Dripstone cave here. This really is just such an awesome place for the world spawn to be, so like I said, this is just absolutely incredible. The spawn of this Minecraft seed looks pretty cool. This crater next to the spawn village goes all the way down to lava. These floating pillar things look pretty cool too. The actual biome that the spawn village is in is a big plains. I found this partly floating building here, and I just think the village being right next to the crater is pretty awesome. It's just a really unique looking place. This comment said they wanted to see a spruce and snow double village. I found this one here. We have this Taiga village. It has this blacksmith building, and some of the buildings go into the snow. And then we have the snowy village over here. I noticed it doesn't have any of the ice buildings. You can see the paths of the villages end up really close to each other here. So yeah, there's a double village with those 2 types. I found a seed with a spawn high up in a Jagged Peaks mountain circle. And for my channel members, I'm going to show you how I found this seed with a tutorial. Go ahead and click the join button below to learn how to become a member and support me a bit more and get access to exclusive perks. In the middle of the mountains, there's a meadow biome with a village. Being surrounded by the mountains makes you feel a bit safe down here with some natural defenses. And really, this area is just perfect for your first build in this world. I always like when seeds have a nice place to build right away, so I can have a plan going into the world. And this one just looks fantastic. Ruined portal villages always look pretty cool. I show them quite often, but I think they're worth seeing. In this case, I have a Savanna village for you. Nice little place to spawn into the world at. This village house generates in a big dripstone cluster pillar. The spawn of this seed is in this village, which is in this big plains biome with another village close by. There's this hole here where we can see a building, but if we go down into the dripstone cave, we can see 2 buildings down here, including this one with the dripstone pillar through it. It looks pretty cool. Sometimes I find a Minecraft seed that I just think looks really cool, and this is one of those. We get a small plains in Savanna fully surrounded by the orange of a Badlands biome. We get a village here, which is nice to have of course, but I really like how this Mesa mineshaft goes into the plains biome. It just looks really unique, and there's even a minecart chest in the plains too. Yeah, just thought this one was pretty cool. I found this seed that has a spawn on an island with a village, ocean ruins, and desert temple. You can see some savanna, desert, and jungle biomes over on the mainland nearby. There are a couple different village buildings conflicting with the desert temple, and some out in the ocean. The ocean ruins conflict with different parts of the village, and with the desert temple too. Inside of the temple is a bit of a mess with the village path being in here. If you can make it down there, you'll find 4 chests down at the bottom. This is definitely a pretty interesting place for spawn to be at. You spawn into the seed near a frozen ocean, and this frozen lake is right nearby. There's a village right on top of it. I always like how this looks. There's an igloo on the lake too, and this one does have the basement down below, which could be seen as kind of sinister with the village nearby. Frozen lake villages are probably my favorite snowy type seeds to find. Like I said, I just always like how they look. This comment asked if I have a swamp village seed. There's this one right here. You can see the tiny bit of plains that generates the village, but then the rest is just out in the swamp. So if you want a swamp village for whatever reason, there you go. The village that spawned in this seed looks pretty typical. Aside from these big cave openings, there's not much that's too obviously crazy about this one. But there is this little beach biome here, and it causes this buried shipwreck right here. From this angle, you can't even see the shipwreck, but the stairs inside are blocked and it's quite obviously visible back here. So yeah, there's a somewhat hidden shipwreck seed. This seed has a spawn village with 3 blacksmiths. It's in a big plains biome. I found some nice iron loot in one blacksmith building, this iron, diamond, and obsidian loot in the second blacksmith, and more diamond and iron loot in the third blacksmith building. But those blacksmiths aren't even my favorite part of this spawn. There's a cave opening in the village that leads right down to a mineshaft. I mean, how awesome is that? A perfect place to explore early on in this world. This is just a great place to spawn into a new seed. I really like these oceanside village seeds. Makes it look like a little port town. The upside down shipwreck here plays into that feeling a bit more too. Maybe they're working on this one to get back into condition to sail again at some point. This village also has these 2 blacksmith buildings, which is not only just great for the loot inside of them, but also just looks really cool out here. I think you could create a really cool place with a great story here. This one looks pretty cool. I just really like how the eroded Badlands look next to the village. The village has a blacksmith here, and it's kind of cool how small the desert is that generated the village. Definitely an interesting looking spawn. I found this Taiga Island village seed here. I always like how these look with the Taiga variant. I think I prefer them to just the Plains Island village. This one has 2 blacksmiths next to each other, which looks pretty awesome, and is great for some easy loot too. Pretty cool looking island, I think. I always like finding these underground village buildings like this. We spawn into this seed at this riverside village here, and this one has a blacksmith building. The big plains biome is pretty hilly with some messy terrain, and there's this big cave nearby here. There's this entrance here that leads down to the underground buildings. I like how the cave has these natural pillars throughout it. So there you have some underground buildings that spawn. So there's the Savanna village island here, but things clearly didn't go too well for them out here. The village is run down and abandoned now. At one time, the village looked like it was thriving. They had workers like the blacksmith, but now all that can be found is the leftover loot inside. Maybe it's time for somebody to try to restore the village to what it once was. This one has a village and jungle temple near spawn. The village generates as a part of a small plains biome. There's 2 churches in the village. Then of course we have the jungle temple. You can find 2 chests for loot inside. If you're looking for a jungle temple and village, this one is a decent option. This cliffside village is right next to the spawn of this seed. We get the buildings at the top of the cliffs here near where you spawn into the world, and then we have the buildings down on the water, which includes this blacksmith, so that's nice. There's also an upside down shipwreck here. A building is actually tucked away in here, and it really just looks like it fits in with the village with the wood types. All of this combines to look pretty cool. This comment asks for a seed with a cherry grove biome village with a blacksmith. Well, I have this seed here. You can see the village is pretty much all in a cherry grove, and that includes the blacksmith building here, of course, with some loot inside. So hopefully that fits what the comment was looking for. I think this is a pretty cool seed. I found this spawn village that has a small floating piece of land. You can see it here just floating in the air with a small house on it. This guy just decided to build a house up here and is just living his best life, I guess. It looks pretty cool. I just always like finding some pretty random things like this in Minecraft. So yeah, just thought I'd share this one with you all. We have a village looking over a woodland mansion here. It's just a little meadow village on the edge of a pale garden in old growth pine taiga. Down at the mansion, you can see there's a cave right at the entrance, and it leads down into some sections of lush caves, which is pretty cool. I don't think I'll ever get tired of finding these mansion village seeds. This stronghold is right underneath the spawn of this seed. You'll find this snowy village right when you spawn in. It's near a frozen ocean. When you go underground here, you can see the stronghold down there. I'd say it's pretty convenient having this right under spawn. I've given you the coordinates right to the spawner room, which has 2 eyes. I think I'm going to keep looking for more seeds like this in the future. I spawned into this seed looking right at a mineshaft. It's in this big dripstone crater, and right outside of the crater there's a village. The floating light post over a ravine is kind of interesting. The village is actually lakeside, and there's another village on the other side. Definitely an interesting place to start off in a new world. This Minecraft seed just looks incredible. The spawn is right near an ocean here with a shipwreck right over there, but the village and mansion near those jagged peaks mountains just looks fantastic. The village is just a meadow style village. It has this mini sinkhole thing here with this floating piece of land in some of the village down here. And the mansion is in a pale garden. On the first floor, I found this room with loot at the end. On the second floor, I found 3 arena rooms, all with loot. And on the top floor, I found this bedroom with loot on the top loft. I mean, yeah, this is just a really nice one. For even more Minecraft seeds, check out the videos on screen now. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here. See ya.